Welcome back. That 5 inches of snow went right around us. We got a dusting, so we lucked out with that. But instead of pulling the alternator off and swapping it right now, I want to do that upgrade fuel pump fuse relocation, and I want to open up this wiring harness to replace that plug end and inspect the wire coming up through. In some other YouTube videos I saw where the wire had corroded and pulled apart in the wiring harness. So let's inspect that. I'm going to take a utility knife. This is our wire. I'm just going to open up this loom and inspect it all the way up to the fuse link, all the way back. Get this stuff exposed. Well, the eaves are dripping over there. It's a little bit of annoying. I pulled the wires up out of this loom and they go over to that regulator, and I get up to about this far and the red wire pops up out of there. It wasn't in the loom, it's in a separate one. They still go up to the same place, and this tape doesn't look too great and that doesn't look original, so I want to take that apart. And I noticed over here on the side of the battery, it looks like there's been a little mouse damage in here. I don't know why else that would be tore out like that. I don't see any battery acid here. And then I'm looking down here on this connector, and you see how them wires are all twisted up? It looks like somebody's had that apart and turned it around 2 or 3 times. You know, I've had this for years and this work wasn't done. I still want to do that ground wire over there. I'm just going to run it to the engine block somewhere. I'm not sure where it goes. I looked in the book, I looked online, I don't see it. It looks like it goes down behind the intake somewhere. But I think I just want to do another engine ground. And instead of putting it there, it seems like it'd make more sense to put it right over on this one, right on that computer, and come over. But I want to finish tearing this apart, seeing what these fusible links are. Start popping this cover, pulling this loom up, and get down to the bottom of that fuse box. My 2 plugs, one was going to come in today and they said it's delayed till tomorrow, and so I'm expecting both of them tomorrow. This will give me a head start, and I don't want to make the truck immobile yet, but do as much as I can while I got a few minutes here. Alright, I pulled all the sheathing back, inspected the wires all the way up through, all the way up. I didn't get any farther than this for the red one, but these two all the way to the plug. Plug looks good, both sides. No crusties, no swell in the wires. They are a small gauge. So again, I'm not convinced there's a wiring problem, but if you recall, when I reached over here with it running, that's the only thing you can feel is this. You can't get down onto the regulator, and I just did this. I just kind of pushed on the plug, and it made a big difference in the alternator. So in the sound, like it was charging more, making more noise. So that's why I got a plug. I don't know how many inches it comes with wire, probably only 6 or something. It'd be nice if it was a complete thing here, 24 inches with the plug on it, just plug and play, but I don't think so. And when I get up here to this box, here's a fusible link. I don't see any reason to get into that. And this plugs here, goes back down in this wire loom, and you see this condition of this tape, all loose. I think somebody's been in here before. I don't want to tear things open unnecessary. We're working on just this field current right now. So I think I'll pull this box up and I'll get that unplugged, lift that up. The battery's disconnected, and we'll see what that relocation is for that. And then if I'm going to start the vehicle, I'll just put a little piece of tape, make sure these wires stay together until I get the clip put on. There's these pull tabs right here. You pull them toward you, and you got to hold them, and then you can pry the box upward, and it comes up a little. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect this 10mm here. That'll take off both of the battery clamps, and there's two on the back side, two here on the front side, so should be able to come up now. It's got this like cast aluminum bracket that holds it down, and it comes up kind of difficult. Now we got to take, oh, see, it drops right back. Hopefully it's not all the way on there. And then we got to pop the cover off so we can look inside. You hear UPS just left. Here's our relocation kit. They said it was delayed, but it's here. Gives you a 20 amp heavy duty fuse. We got to put right there, right next to this pink 30. And it's got one spade connector, and we're putting in a new one. And there it be. So we're going to take this cover, lift this off. It said it was going to be delayed coming tomorrow, and the only problem with that is we got a little freeze and rain coming tomorrow, and I thought, oh man, today's a better day to do it. Feel that sun? I got about an hour of sun here. I want to take care of this before I have to go, but I'm going to get the top of this cover off so that we can see all the wires in there. We can see the bottom of this, and we got to clip the wire on this burnt 20 right here, and we're going to move it over here and put a heat shrink on that one, and we're going to put a heat shrink on this one. Now we got all these clips to deal with, so we use a screwdriver blade and pull them out. Be careful not to break them all the way around, and we'll lift this cover up. They give you very little room to lift this up. The way to lift it up more would be to cut all the tape on that big wire loom down under here, and I'm not going to do all that. But what we got to locate that wire, and it's the that heavy purple one back there. We'll snip that, leave it long enough to put some heat shrink on it, and then install the new one and slide it up until it clicks. And then we're going to take the wire that we cut and bring it over here and heat shrink it on to the new one. Okay, I stripped the blue with the pink tracer, about 3/4 of an inch long. Now I'm going to open up the kit. This one's already stripped. I'm going to tie them together and solder them. Okay, I wound the wires together good, and I soldered them. It took quite a bit of solder. I slid this cardboard under there so I wouldn't drop anything hot, and I didn't drop anything. Did a pretty good job. And I had slid my heat shrink on there first. Don't ever forget that. And then I'm going to use a heat gun and melt that on there. I got those vice grips just holding it so it doesn't pull back under. Just melt that on there. Just keep moving it around. Should suck right in and keep it waterproof. Just seal it up nicely. Okay, the heat shrink looks real good. Now I've got to take and put this end and snap it up into number 70 from underneath, and it goes on this front edge, and I should push it in till it snaps. Okay, now we're going to put, I got that spade in there, see that? Now I got to put the 20 amp fuse in, push all the wires back in, snap the box closed, and that fuel pump fuse right there is no good now. And then you just label the box where it moved to. Everything snapped down nice. Now we just got to put our two cables on, we'll fire it up, make sure it runs. If it doesn't start, we know we didn't do it right. There's that fuse, guys. 20 amp, one of them little midgets. So small you can't see it. But she got hot. Just about melted through. So let's fire this up. make sure we put it together right. Fire it up, Terrell. I still don't see a battery light, do you? I do not. Seems like there'd be a battery light here somewhere. This does not have a gauge for it. I think it's right here in the message center or something. When you go to turn it on, it's supposed to be. Let's see if it starts. All right, we did something right. Now that fuse should last. It's a fuel pump relocation kit, and you're moving the fuse from 27 from a mini to one of them large fuse 20s. And so we did that good. Sounds okay. So our next step would be to put that field wire connector on and test everything out. And if I'm still not happy, I'm going to go ahead and put that alternator on. But that'll probably be another video. I'll go back out and show you what we did. So we disconnected the cable. We pulled up on this plug right here so we can get this loose. We unsnapped all them fittings around, popped the box up, tipped it up, cut number 27, the blue and pink stripe, I believe, that was located right here at 27. Right there, I located that once. I put it there once so that I knew where it was. I must have blown once. And we moved it over to number 70. And that would be right here with this new style fuse. 20 ampere. And these, you can sort of see if they're blown or not. I don't know if they're called time delay or not. But so it's a fuse relocation kit. So our next step, like I said, would be to replace this field wire connector because I leaned on it the other day. I rocked it and it turned the alternator on like, it must be like a full field because it made noise. I let go, it went off. Did that a couple times. And so I want to replace that connector. It was cheap. That's coming tomorrow. I pulled all these wires out. I don't see where any of them's got crusties or swelled up. They appear in okay condition. And so we'll probably just heat shrink them way down here. We'll put all this back in the wire loom, tape it up, and we'll probably put the alternator on. So thanks for watching. One step at a time on the old Ford.